everybody. Welcome to the podcast. So this is a completely different kind of episode in that I recently found out that there is this such thing as a discussion episode, which I guess is like if you keep tabs on like reality shows and they do podcasts where it's like people.
There's the gnat. Oh, he just came and looked you right in the face and then flew away.
There's like a fruit fly in here that has been like
all day.
I almost got it.
All day.
Anyway, so what I was saying is that if you've been watching like reality TV and you listen to podcasts about reality TV, it's people talking about the episodes, and I'm like, that's a discussion episode.
And it's really fun.
Yeah.
And I want to be in on that.
Yeah. So now we are.
But we noticed that it requires bare feet and like super chill vibes.
So if you are watching this on YouTube, this is how we're rolling without any feet. So this is my friend Elyssa. I say her name wrong, but it's
wrong.
But it's like accepted.
It's accepted because when a person is a native Spanish speaker, the correct way to say my name is Elyssa.
Elyssa.
Yes.
Right.
If you are a non-native Spanish speaker, you would normally say Elyssa.
If you're a non-native speaker, then you would be saying it wrong.
No, it's not wrong. Did anyone hear me say it's wrong? It's not wrong. It's not incorrect. It just depends on what your native language is.
So my point in still trying to introduce this episode is that this is my friend Elyssa Smith, and she is like an amazing life strategist, like trauma-informed life strategist. And I have interviewed her on my podcast twice already, and I have had many, many conversations with her about everything. And I think everybody needs to know who she is, first of all. Okay, and she has a TED Talk, which is at the time of the release of this episode fast approaching 50,000 views. And that is like insane. And I need everybody to understand what a big deal that is, because everybody else who was in the same cohort of TED Talks that day has not cracked 1,000.
No shade.
We love all of them.
Yes.
I was trying to convey to you how unique it is.
It is
for
unusual.
Your TEDx to just blow up organically, and it keeps getting like 1,000 views every couple of days, every 3 days, like boom, there's another 1,000. So I admire you very much.
Thank you.
And I want that. So now you introduce me and say awesome things about me.
So this is Ina. She pronounces names incorrectly and keeps really good tabs on your TED Talk.
On that note, let's start the episode. Let's get started. Thank you, Elyssa, very much for that valuable contribution.
You're welcome.
To this episode.
I know you couldn't do it without me.
Yes,
you're welcome.
I really couldn't. I really couldn't. It's the bare feet that attract all that energy.
It's the sparkly pink toenails.
Yes. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
So really, you're not going to say anything nice about
No, I can absolutely. You just cut me off.
Oh, okay. Go. I'll stop talking.
So this is my dear friend and colleague and coach, Ina Coveney. She is an incredible business strategy coach. And I first met you when you were doing something really nice for someone else. You will always find her doing something really nice for someone else. It's either a client, it's someone that she knows, it's someone she admires, and she's always looking for ways to like make someone else's life better or their business better. And I very selfishly have benefited from that quite a bit in the last 3 years, and I'm so grateful. And she's part of my Millionaire Business Bestie squad. We have a little squad that we talk on Voxer every day too. Yeah. And we know a lot of things about each other, but what I really admire about you is, number one, the way your mind works, because you have such a systems-oriented, make your life easier, make your business better. Like it's instant for you when you hear a problem. Your problem solving is incredible. And I so appreciate how genuine and down to earth you are. And you're so validating. I mean, I can't even tell. Okay, so if you're listening to this, you should know I have had multiple Google Drive, like funnel related, like all kinds of meltdowns, actual tears, actual ugly crying on Zoom with this woman before we became friends, really. And she was just my coach, and she was like, it's gonna be okay. And I was like, I don't think it is, though. I really don't. She's like, no.
You're like a master of Google Drive now.
I don't know if I would go that far.
You're like a master now.
There's the gnat. No, it's a mosquito. You guys, what is happening inside this studio?
Did it go?
I think so.
Did I get it?
You got it.
If I got it, it's in my hair now.
Oh, no.
It's in my hair. But thank you so much for saying all those kind words. I didn't think anybody noticed anything that I did, but how
is it that you think you're continuing to find clients? We do notice.
They just
we do notice.
That's very, very nice of you to say. And I have to tell you, like, the reason I'm able to keep my composure and think that everything's going to be okay with technology is because I've been around it forever. That's what
It's
I
like
went to
your
school with. It's like,
language of
yeah.
understanding, which
So
I admire.
I am to technology as you are to just like trauma. You can spot trauma 3 miles away.
I try not to say anything unless they're like in a
Right.
session with me.
It's a magical mind that you have for identifying what when people are going through something just by the way that they're talking. You have all of these dog whistles that you can hear. So anyway, this is not meant to be like a
This is
love
mostly just
fest
gonna be another hour of us obsessing over each
over
other.
each
That's
other.
really just what this is gonna be.
I will say this out loud. I really hope for this kind of friendship for anybody who's listening.
Yeah.
You know, I hope everybody finds their Elyssa
Oh, and they're Ina.
and their Ina. And anyway,
And
so
maybe they'll pronounce their name right. I mean,
and
that always goes a long
do you
way.
know what? That's like minimum requirement. Like minimum is to say somebody's name right. So we wanted to talk about, which I do think is related to this,
Yes.
is we wanted to talk about the people, the coaches, the programs that we have joined that have actually inspired us and that have made us better, and that we would like to just come here and just talk to each other about them. And I have my little list. You have your
I
little
have my
list.
little list.
And we've kind of like already started like this whole like love fest. I promise you it wasn't manufactured. This is like literally how we would have introduced each other, even if we were going to
I
talk
didn't know
about
I was gonna introduce you
building
today.
bridges. Like we could be talking about podcasting and we would have started this podcast this way because there's like this genuine like affection and like appreciation for each other. And that's how we feel about like other people in this space, that we feel like everybody should know about them. So Elyssa and I talk on Voxer like every day
Yeah.
in our little squad, and we share information like this all the time. So I told Elyssa, let's just have like a powwow where we just talk about something people would want to be a fly on the wall about. So we want to talk about the people that have inspired us, people online, people that other people should follow. And when I was preparing for this, like in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm going to start the episode by saying, okay, Elyssa, tell me, I'll give you $10 if you tell me something bitchy about someone we know. That's a line from Sex and the City, if nobody knows it. It's a line from Sex and I'm like, so no, that's not the vibe. We can talk about people who have not inspired us and how they have not done it, but we're not going to say names of them.
Okay. Yes.
Okay?
No.
Because I think it's important.
I quit. I'm out.
No, I think it's important that we don't say names if we're not going to say something.
100%. I didn't even know we were gonna talk about things that
I think
people
it
that
might
didn't
come
work.
up.
It could.
It might come
It
up.
could. All right. So everybody's in.
Yeah.
This is our pact. We're not gonna vent and say names.
Say names,
I love it.
right?
Okay.
But I think that in a conversation, it might come up like, oh, yeah, I was in this other.
Get him.
I
Get
couldn't.
the gnat's back. Get
The
him.
gnat is back. So there's like little fruit flies.
It's just
It's
a
like
one,
flying around us.
but it keeps going in your face. I think he likes
like
you.
between us.
Right.
Like between us.
I think he likes how you
So
smell.
at least it's not in my hair.
Well, there you go.
Boom, call back. Okay. So I did want to start by saying that you were person number 1 on my list. And so again, like this
Okay,
is
we
not,
promised them that this wasn't going to just be you
gonna be
and
like
me
a love
talking
fest
about each other. You
So,
just violated.
I get that I'm probably on your list, and like of course I'm like number 1 on your list. But I do want to say this, that for me, self-awareness in my business is huge. It's the only way that I can do anything and move forward. And you are like that magical little chip for me. Because like whenever I feel like right now that I'm launching a brand new experience, brand new podcast, just doing something new, I knew that I didn't need more strategy and more marketing and more like time management skills. I knew that if something was going to fail over the next 3 months, it was going to be me getting in my own way. It was going to be me deciding, oh, well, that's too hard, or stopping myself, just procrastinating and just putting excuses in front of it. So I decided to sign up, like to work with you during that time. And I need somebody to keep an eye on this and to keep on tapping things that I'm not aware of. So you're like number 1 in my list, because I feel like everybody needs to know that, how important that is to the strategy. Because when I started my business, it was all like, it all just sounded like fluff. Because all I needed was ABC strategy.
Just
I'm
get
a
the
go-getter.
systems. Yep. I think we all start that way too.
Right.
I think we're all just like, I just need a funnel. I need a freebie. I need build my audience. And so we know what the logistics are. But you reach a certain level of success And the only thing that's going to stop you is you.
Yeah.
It's going to be your default coping mechanisms for stress that stop you from actually reaching the dream.
Yeah.
It's so amazing that you know that and that you were looking for help with it.
I know that so much, so painfully, that I know when I'm doing it, and I could just do nothing. I could just like ignore it and just keep going with my life and keep going with my plan. But I'm like, but that's not what I want. What I want is for this podcast to launch, by the end of the month. I want a new academy to be up and running. I want to do all these things. And I know that if I just keep getting in my own way, like that's not gonna happen. And that's a non-negotiable for me. Like that's gotta happen.
I love that.
So you were like number one on my list.
Thanks, babe.
I have to say.
Amazing. Yeah. That's incredible.
So why don't you tell me somebody that has really inspired you?
Okay, so if I just talk about you now, are we really not?
Don't talk about me.
Are you sure? Because I could talk for hours about
I'm awesome and
all of the things that you have gotten me through. And the fact that I sort of pimp you out to all my friends and all my clients.
Like, just keep doing
I'm
that.
like,
Tell
listen, that sounds like an Ina problem. I think you just need to go to her.
Tell your friends.
Yes, tell your friends.
Right.
Absolutely.
But
okay, well, if I'm really not allowed to use you, so one of the top people on my list for the last couple of years, well, for the last year, because you're the one that introduced me to her just a little over a year ago. So Lindsay Schwartz is someone to watch. You absolutely should go follow her, Lindsay Schwartz, on Instagram. And she is an incredibly authentic person. And I'll tell you why she caught my attention. And you were there for this moment. So Lindsay has an incredible event, a live event called Powerhouse Women.
Which, by the way, I take credit for dragging you to.
You absolutely. I'm literally telling that story because Ina told me she was in a program with Lindsay a year and a half ago, something like this. She was like, oh, Lindsay is an incredible mentor. She's a community builder. She's just this amazing person. You need to be in her space at some point. And so then you messaged me and you were like, I just interviewed her on the podcast and I'm joining her, whatever this program is. And you need to come with me and we need to get our VIP early bird tickets for this Powerhouse Women event. And I was like, that is never going to happen. And you were like, why not? And I was like, because I don't like mean girls. And especially for me, I had this experience for the previous few years. So since 2020 is when I brought my business online, along with a lot of people, right? It's kind of an important time to go online if you weren't already. And I had already experienced people, women entrepreneurs in particular, bullying each other online. And I just was recoiling from all of that energy and had not found the safe space yet.
Yeah.
So Ina, you had to convince me. She dragged me kicking and screaming somewhat to the Powerhouse Women event. And the night before the Powerhouse event, you can sign up for the VIP option, which is the pajamas and Prosecco night. Prosecco and pajamas. I can't remember. Lindsay, I'm sorry. I don't remember the order. But she designed it specifically so that anyone who was intimidated or had been exposed to mean girls in this space would have like a dressed down version of the event first with just like fun and everyone's in pajamas and it's like a big party. So I went there and I was bristled. I was like ready for impact. I was braced. I was like, there are going to be mean people that make you feel bad about yourself, or like I'm going to feel self-conscious because of how I'm dressed or how my hair isn't, I don't know, whatever. I'm the wrong height. I just really wasn't, I didn't know.
Were your pajamas shiny enough?
I don't know.
Right.
That was it. I couldn't tell. So I was really uncomfortable and I got into that room, and the second that Lindsay took the mic, because I was like kind of scanning the crowd for threats, right? The second that she took the mic, my whole existence, like everything, all of my energy and the space within me relaxed, because she has this connected calm that she offers to everyone that is in her space. From that moment, I have not stopped following her. I just wanted to be in her space. She has a brilliant podcast called Powerhouse Women. So she just has absolutely changed my life. I went to her expanders retreat earlier this year. I'm like, what else do you offer, Lindsay? Like, let's do it. From the Powerhouse Women event, I did her 6-figure school, highly recommend. I went to her expanders retreat, highly recommend. And then this year I got chosen to speak on the Powerhouse Women stage, which was, I just felt so incredibly humbled and grateful, and to get to actually stand on a stage that she was speaking on and share my story was phenomenal. So I was a massive Lindsay Schwartz fan before any of that happened. And then that was like the cherry on top. And she's just someone that I will always be watching and want to be close to.
And she has like the magic that you have with, trauma, and the magic that I have.
That makes it sound bad.
Like, no, it's like,
trauma magic.
Things. And the magic that I have with like, systems and with technology, she has that for building community and building people up. Like
Yes.
when I went to her retreat, and it was a small retreat, it was like 20 people around, like in a conference room kind of thing. And she had this wonderful way of getting everybody on board, being too much, being loud enough, being just everything they wanted to be, and for everybody else to accept that that person was going to be extra. Like the way that she did this within the first 10 minutes, it was insane. And she had an actual agenda for the retreat. She threw it out the window.
Wow.
We never opened the workbook.
Wow.
And everybody walked away feeling like their minds were blown. That's her magic, that she just intuitively plugged into the space and started to make everybody friends with each other.
Yes.
And I'm just going to give you one example of this. I wish I could give you like 5, but one example of it was...
Do we really have to talk about anyone else today? We can just talk about Lindsay.
One example of it was she had one exercise where we wrote down how we talk to ourselves about our own like inability to do something, or like why are we not gonna meet our dreams kind of thing, like the awful things we tell ourselves. And then she had us turn around and read that to the person that we're talking to, right? To the next person, as if we're saying that about them. I'm gonna cry.
Oh my word.
And you could hear how mean you sound when you're talking to somebody else and telling them that their dream is not gonna come true because they are lazy, or because they're stupid, or because like all these awful things we tell ourselves. She made us say that to somebody else. And of course, the person didn't take it personally because it's not about them. Like we all understood the exercise, but you could hear how mean you were being to yourself. So anyway, like right there, we developed like immediate understanding of each other. So anyway, Lindsay
She did something similar at Powerhouse this year. She had cards that were in envelopes under your seat, and so then she had you open up the cards, and there was a list of like, I don't know, 15 or 20 things on there of hard things that you might have been through in the last year. And she had you circle everything that you could relate to: financial hardship, medical hardship, a loss of someone, grieving something. I just went down through the list, failed launch. And then you put it in an envelope, no name, and then pass it to someone else. And then we all opened the card that we had been passed and could see how similar, like there are so many people going through things, and she just finds these ways to just connect you with other people in the room. So then you knew that someone anonymously was going through all these hard things, and you just felt like, oh my gosh, we need to be here for each other.
Yeah. So anyway, Lindsay Schwartz, yes, like a must, right?
Absolutely.
So let me tell you my next one. Okay, this is someone that I only started really paying attention to recently. Her name is Maria Wendt, Wendt. And I have been so inspired by her because she is violating every rule that I have ever heard and making more money than any of those people who were telling me to follow those rules. So Maria she's a business coach, and she's a strategist, and she has similar programs to mine. Like she actually has, you know how I have Get Clients First? She has a program called Get Clients Now.
Oh,
like she even,
interesting.
Right? She even has she has a whole framework for people to buy courses from her that is like marketing courses, like about everything. But her core offer is like this Get Clients Now, because I feel like she knows, and I know, the same way that I know, she understands that getting clients is really the foundation of your business, right? It's not the creating content online. It's that you need to be getting clients. That's why that's her signature offer.
Love that.
But the way that she promotes her stuff on social media is stuff that we would never want to do because of all the programming that we have had in the online world. I'm going to give you some examples. Number 1, she sells on every post.
Really?
And she posts 3 times a day. And some posts sell 3 different things with 3 different calls to action in a single post. And we are eating it
How
up.
dare she?
we are
She's a
eating.
rebel.
I am telling you, like
That's so interesting.
it
It's
is
not at all what you hear.
no. What you hear is
Not what the coaches say.
is the jab, jab, punch kind of thing, right? It's like you have to give them value, and then sell.
That's so
value,
violent.
value, sell.
Where did you hear that?
That's a Gary Vee thing.
Oh gosh.
That's a Gary Vee.
Dang, Gary.
Yeah, the Gary Vee is like, no, you have to like
Jab,
drown
jab,
them in
punch.
value, jab, jab, punch. Like drown them in value, and then they will want to buy something from you, right? So you gotta like measure yourself. Don't be selling all the time. That's salesy. That's awful. That's blah. Maria is like, I make $400,000 a month. So that's what I do.
I mean, it sounds pretty good.
Right? So I decided to kind of like join her space. And she's also, she's doing everything wrong.
Oh, I love
but
this.
making more money than anybody.
Yes.
Another thing that she's doing, quote unquote, wrong is that, yes, she has this signature offer, but she's not like leading people to a bigger and bigger and bigger offers. Like she doesn't have like the $5,000 tier or the $10,000 tier or the $25,000.
Really?
No, she is a volume seller. So she tells everybody, hey, don't even buy ads until you make your first million. Don't build your mailing list until you've made your first million. How does that sound?
Scary.
Sounds wrong.
Yes.
She's doing everything
She's doing
wrong.
it wrong.
She's doing everything wrong. But we're like, she's taking it to the bank.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
what it has like really opened my mind about is about being able to sell more of things that are easy to sell.
Love it.
Because lots of her courses, if you go to her website, by the way, she has not updated her website since like 2022. How do I know this? By the way, that's wrong.
It's wrong to do
It's
that.
wrong to do that.
Yeah.
Then she also has her blog on her homepage. There is no pretty homepage with this is what I do and click here. That's wrong.
You don't do that.
That's wrong. You know why you don't do that? Because if you haven't written a blog since 2022, I know that now. Because that's on your front page.
Interesting.
That is wrong. She has in her navigation for her courses and stuff, she doesn't call it courses. She doesn't call it academy. She doesn't call it work with me. She calls it shop. Wrong. Everything she does is wrong.
I love her already.
$400,000 a year because she has focused.
You said a month a minute ago.
What did I say?
You said a month.
It's a month.
It's a month.
It's a month. $400,000 a month. A month. Every 30 days. A month.
I think I could get used to that.
Right?
Those numbers.
I want to get used to those numbers.
You know.
So I just recently started following her. And I decided to buy. She has a package called 24 courses for $24. Like literally, she's been doing this for so long and creating so many like easy to grab offers for so long that she was able to be like, hey, these are courses that, yeah, they're a little bit out of date. Like she created them a while ago, right? And she created them when she was even like, she would do like a whole production. Like she had a production team at her house and she had the hair and the makeup. And you see her in this environment that is a little bit more polished. And you start to feel like, oh, but that's not her. Because she's a lot scrappier than that, right? So you can tell that these courses are a little bit dated, a little bit. But I bought it because it was such a like $24, 24 pieces of knowledge. Like even if some of it is out of date, I'll still get something out of it. For $24, I just spent $15,000 on another program that I got way less than this from, right? So I signed up and actually started watching her courses, and her courses are so like, here is what you need. The end.
Wow.
The end. This is it.
There's no pomp and circumstance.
This is not a 50 lesson course. It's just like, this is it. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to learn. That's why it's $1. Say thank you, right? Like that's it. But that one thing that you learn for that $1, it's like, that's life-changing, mind-blowing.
Wow.
So I have been very much enjoying following her. A lot of people tend to like watch what she does and see that she's selling so much. And yes, they will unsubscribe. But there will be people like me who are just like
okay,
running towards the success and running towards like, what is she doing right? Because she seems to be doing everything wrong. And that has been extremely interesting, especially as a business coach, as the stuff that I do has been very interesting to see what is actually important in order to make money. So
good.
I think it's
I love what you said.
amazing.
Oh, yeah, thank you. So I love what you said about how she is selling things that are easy to sell. That calls to my heart.
Right.
Because I think we've all been, if you have an online business, we've all been in that space where it's like, okay, we got to be prepared for their objections and we got to like have the sales calls. And I mean, and I think there's a space for that. Those types of offers are out there. But if that's the only thing you're doing, I think that having people like Maria, and just in case you forgot her name already, it's Maria Wendt with the D before the T. But I think it's really helpful to have mentors out there like her who are saying it doesn't have to be hard.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Right.
My straight A student self, like teacher's pet, does not know what to do with this information. Like I could just make a little something and like sell it for $25 or $100.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so I kind of took her lead, and I'm like, you know what? You know what she does? She just created a big course in a single day, right?
Wow.
And I'm like, I can do that. I have done like blitzes where I create all this content in a single day. I'm like, I could totally do that. So I sat down and I wrote and recorded. I didn't even like write everything. It's pretty much just like turn on the camera, trust that I'm an expert and I know what I'm talking about,
Yes.
and then just record. And I have a tidbit already. And I created an entire course in one day.
That's amazing.
I did. I just went and did it. And I'm like, if I just do this once a month, which I would say that I could do that way more often than once a month, then I'll end up with an academy. And that's basically how I'm building the Superhuman Academy.
I love that.
It's like on all these courses, it's like I'm just going to empty my brain and just give it to people. One thing that like came to me is that I get a lot of questions about Kajabi in particular. And there is a past episode like in here, I'll link it below, where I talk all about Kajabi and what I really, really think of it and what are my pet peeves with it. But I've been using it for 6 years and I know a lot about it. And I have friends of mine who Vox me and are like, how do you do this in Kajabi again? Like, I'm stuck. This is not working. My automation is not working. I'm like, I promise you, your automation is working. You're just not setting something up right. So I decided to just empty my brain into a course that is like, you want to create a funnel? This is what you do. Do you want to create a freebie? This is what you do in Kajabi. Do you want to upload a course? This is how you do it. Literally 2 lessons, or like 1 lesson on uploading a course because it's that easy. So I did that. And then I said, okay, I'm going to put an easy price tag on it. And I'm going to say, if somebody uses my affiliate link to sign up for Kajabi, they get the course for free. And that's a great head start.
I love that.
Right?
That's brilliant.
And this is all inspired by just watching how easily those $400,000 a month are coming to our friend Maria.
I love that. And I think it really, you have to be able to identify what is it that people really want from you too.
Right.
Because if you're just putting out like all the information in your head into something and nobody's asked you for that.
Nobody has asked you.
Nobody
asking.
asked
you.
Nobody asked. No one wanted that.
Nobody.
But she's got such a really close look at what people are wanting and what they'll buy because she wants to help them.
Yeah. And she's done.
Like I'm on her list and I don't remember when I started following her. I like followed her for a while and then I may have unsubscribed or some. I know I've changed email addresses a couple times, but I resubscribed recently. And I was just like, yeah, like you just feel like she cares about you. You just feel like she's there to solve your problem. Like, why make this hard?
Yeah. A lot of people have said that to me about it. Like in her course, like being part of her community it's like, I just feel like she really, really cares. I'm like, I'm going to be completely honest. I don't care if she cares or not. Like that's
I care if she cares.
That's not a thing. I don't need to know that like she sees me because I know that she has 1,000 people in her core coaching group. She has, 1 billion sales a month. Like I'm a number, right? But she does take care of making people feel like, listen, I am doing this for a reason.
Yes.
I have, and that was something that she put in a post recently. So she's like, I would not be doing this just for the money. Like the money would never materialize if it wasn't because I actually care about the things that I'm doing and the things that I'm talking about because I have a purpose and a goal. If you don't have a purpose and a goal and a why, forget about the $400,000 a month. That's not going to happen.
Right.
It's not a strategy alone situation. It's like you got to have the feeling and the emotion and the drive behind it.
Yeah, that's really true.
So she shows you that she cares. Do I care? Do I feel cared for by her in particular? I don't think she knows that I exist, right? But a lot of people do feel it because it genuinely comes from that place. Literally, the money would not come if it wasn't because she actually cares about what she does.
Yep.
And people feel that.
Yeah.
People feel that very deeply.
And I think for me, it's important for me that I feel like they're not just there to sell me something, that they actually know that this problem is affecting people.
Yeah.
Even if it's not me specifically, right? Even if I'm just a number, that the person that I'm buying from really knows they want to solve this problem for somebody. and that's why they're here, that matters to me.
Yeah. So give me your next one on your list.
Okay, next one. Oh, these cannot be ranked because all of my people they're just phenomenal superhumans. Okay, next, I guess we can talk about, let's just talk about Rachel Rodgers for a second.
Okay.
So Rachel Rodgers wrote a book called We Should All Be Millionaires. And what I love.
And the link is below, by the way.
Yes, the link is below.
The link.
It's going to be.
It's right there.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Rachel Rodgers.
So she is a self-made millionaire. And she has a way of approaching sales and like how to create your ideal product for your clients. And I was a part of her community for a while. The We Should All Be Millionaires community. And she has this system. She has H1 through H7. So it has to do with what level of income you're bringing in.
Yeah, and the H stands for hello, which is actually her
Thank
company.
you.
It's Hello 7.
Hello 7. Thank you so much. I'm like, I don't remember what that stands for.
Yeah.
So, you take a little quiz and you figure out by your income level and by what kinds of offers you have and what place you are in your career. If you're in H1, H2, H3, all the way up through H7, which is, you've crossed over the $1 million mark with your business. So what I love about following her in general is that she's like a real, I'm a mom. I have a young, son. She has young kids and she became a millionaire when she had young little kids.
Mhm.
And she and her husband have this ever expansive view of wealth. And her perspective on wealth is not that it's a luxury. It's a necessity that the wealth of the world gets into the right hands of people who actually give a care.
Mhm.
We'll just
Give
say
a
it
care.
Give a
Give a care.
care.
Give a
Yeah,
care.
if they have a care to give.
Yes. I don't have any more cares.
I don't know.
I don't have any more
There's
cares
no
to
more
give.
cares. All cares are gone. So I just love that mentality because if you think about it as, are you a human? Like this is a great question that she kind of gets to in her messaging. Are you a human who is going to do good things with the money that you make? And if so, she wants you to make a crap ton of it as quickly as possible.
Right.
And she has these hello levels so that you can analyze where you are. And she literally has it kind of dialed in to like, these are the 3 actions you need to take to get from H3 to H4. So if you're not doing this yet, that's where you start. And she has it very practically laid out, especially for women and minorities. So it's just, she's very focused on equanimity. She's very focused on, everybody gets access to wealth. And I just really appreciate that about her and her messaging.
Yeah, we actually got to read that book, and it's why we created our $1 Million Squad,
Yeah.
a little boxer group that we talk to all the time, which includes like the amazing Caitlin Locasio-King. I'm going to link her below. She's the owner of Modern Marketing Legal.
Yeah.
MML. Yes.
MML.
And Trisha Camacho, who is the leader of the Creative Costume Academy. And she's just been featured on Threads, which is a super magazine for costume designers and for people who like to sew and create like amazing pieces. She's like the pattern queen. And the 4 of us were talking all the time like about everything, about health journeys, relationships, like everything goes into there. And we feel so
in our businesses. I mean, we all have online businesses that we're constantly processing our ins and outs with each other.
And we hire each other for stuff, which I love, by the way, because when you are in a personal relationship with somebody who knows stuff, I don't know why.
Somebody who knows stuff.
Somebody who knows stuff. I don't know why so much of the population feels like, well, because you're friends, you should be helping me for free.
Ooh.
Right? And that
sounds like a toxic relationship.
But it's like everybody. It's like everybody's just trying to like mooch off of other people. And it's like the 4 of us, we understand that we each have very, very specific expertise.
Yes.
And we appreciate and honor that expertise by booking time and hiring each other, right? And you think to yourself like, well, but they're a friend. I just want to help them as a friend. You are welcome to volunteer whatever you want to somebody. Nobody should ever demand or expect that kind of thing from you.
Yep.
I had a situation like, I'm sure Trisha wouldn't mind. Trisha was having a particular issue with like Kajabi and stuff. And I am happy to volunteer my advice to her on Voxer. Because if she has a question, like, hey, you're my friend. Like, You want to know where Kajabi is hiding their whatever? I know it in my head.
Yep.
I tell her on Voxer, go to this screen, this screen, this screen, this screen. That's where you're going to find it. And many times that solves a problem and I'm happy with it. There are times when she goes like, just please do it for me. I have her log in and I tell her, okay, at my hourly rate, if I have to touch anything, if I have to log into your account, that automatically triggers I'm doing work.
Right. Which she like says, I would like to pay you for you to go in and do it for me.
She knows my rate. She goes, just please go do it for me.
We all kind of do that to you. Ina, please do it.
Just go do it.
Can you just go do it?
And I'm like, okay. And I go, I do it. They're happy. Here's your invoice. And that's it.
Yeah.
So I just want to say that out loud because I feel like more people need to adopt that mindset that you need to appreciate and honor other people's time and expertise and not be trying to get something for free just because you're in a mastermind group with them. That's not how it works.
No.
You know what I mean?
It's the connection is the mastermind group piece of it, right? You know, because we have our informal Millionaire Squad mastermind kind of deal. And so the connection with each other and the access to each other and the priority, we know that we'll be a priority to each other is the only, like, that's what you're getting from the actual group. But then if you want more than that, that's when it's appropriate to say, okay, I'm going to compensate you. Tell me what your rates are. This is what I need. Can you even do that last minute? You know, because I think also people will be like, I need this right now, you know, and they expect because they know you that you're going to drop everything and do it. But it's so important that we respect each other. And I think that's what makes a really good, you know, biz bestie squad is that you really understand and respect boundaries and offer to compensate each other accordingly, etc.
Yeah, I have worked with actual clients who they say they quote unquote they hire a friend to do something and I'm like, okay, so you're paying them. Oh no, I'm not paying them. They're happy to do it for free. And I'm like,
oh no.
No.
That's not who we are, guys. That's not who we are.
You need to pay them. And they go, no, they're happy to do it. Why would you want me to spend money? This is a recipe for disaster.
Because it gets into so many, get him, the gnat is back. It gets into so many hairy areas where it's like, okay, well then do you have the right, if they do it for free, do you have the right to
demand quality
or to double check or to
timely
go back? Yeah. Ask for it no, like it needs to be a hired relationship and it needs to be that this is the rate and these are the deliverables and everyone's clear on it. I mean, that's literally, you can't operate a business and scale unless you have real clarity around those.
And I actually had another client, a completely separate client than the one that I just had in mind, who we were working with their reels and they had a friend of theirs do their professional photography for it. And like, oh yeah, I hired a friend to do this. And I'm like,
did you
though? And the files that I got back were not usable.
Oh no.
Right? So I go back to him like, hey, tell your friend to give me the right files. And he's like, oh, well, I didn't hire him. I did offer.
What does that mean?
Right. Like people understand what hiring means. It's like, well, I didn't really hire. I offered him money. I said, I'm happy to pay you. But they said, no, I'm happy to do this for free. I'm
don't fall for it.
Don't do it.
Don't.
And you know what he said? He's like, he tells me, I should have known better than to hire a friend.
That's not the lesson.
I was like, that is not the lesson, dude. No, don't do that to yourself because the best people that I hire are actually family and friends.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Because I pay them for having certain expectations.
Yep.
And those expectations need to be met for them to get paid. And they're happy because they're doing good work and getting paid and compensated for it. And I'm happy because somebody in my family is doing this stuff. I hire friends all
the time.
Same.
If I know you and I like you, I am like 100% more likely to hire you than somebody else that I don't know.
So don't let that be the lesson.
Yes,
exactly. Don't let it be the lesson that strangers are better to hire than somebody that you know and trust.
No, we all know that fails.
How is that? How is that a thing?
That's not real.
How is the fact that I don't know them better than So no, just treat them with respect and give them the requirements that they need to do the job right.
Yep.
And to be happy with. Okay. I know this was supposed to be a short episode. And
it's not.
It's not. So I am just going to do one more.
And then we
And then, okay, I just need to mention this one.
Yes. Okay, perfect.
This one real quick.
Let's do it.
His name is...
Hold on. Should we do the 7th inning stretch? Okay, everybody, if you're listening, this is what happens in baseball before the...
We sing Sweet Caroline in Boston during the 7th inning stretch.
No.
What do? Do you watch hot dogs run around the field?
No.
That's
what
they do in Wisconsin. They do that in Wisconsin.
Oh, that's really
It's
funny.
amazing.
No, that doesn't happen.
What do you do?
Well, we stand up and we stretch and we sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Oh, yeah, that happens too.
Yeah.
We do sweet.
So, okay, everybody take a deep breath.
Sweet Caroline.
No.
Oh, sorry, wrong one.
No.
Sorry. Deep breath.
Deep breath. Okay, stand up, jump around a little bit, get your energy going. Okay, we got one more. Drum roll, please.
Okay. Just one more. Just one more. Okay. So I just need to mention this because this podcast would probably not even exist if it wasn't for this dude, Kevin Schmidlin.
Yes, okay. Kevin.
Kevin is an amazing person. Like, number one, he's one of those guys that is just genuinely nice. Like a nice
I don't
guy.
even personally know Kevin, and my life has been changed by his niceness.
By his niceness.
Vicariously through you.
So Kevin, I met him at a podcasting conference. About a year later, he put out a message on Facebook saying, I think I want to teach people how to grow their podcasts. And at the time, I was considering rebranding my podcast or starting a new one or something. And I immediately knew that I needed to work with him. So unfortunately, somebody else beat me to the punch that same day, and I ended up being just person number 2 to join his program. Yeah. And now it's made him millions of dollars.
That's amazing.
Legit millions of dollars. And he has a mind, a brain for growing a podcast. And every time, it's funny because every time that I talk to him, I completely forget about the podcast growth part. And we talk about business. And we talk about audience engagement. And we talk about content quality. Like, this guy knows so much more than just podcast growth. Wow. That I have paid very good and very well-deserved money just to get his brain on things that I'm doing. Period. Just because he's such a brilliant mind. So I've interviewed him for this podcast a couple of times. His story is incredible. There is something that a lot of people don't know, and that I interviewed him on the podcast specifically for this too, is that he used to weigh 300 pounds when he was in high school.
Really?
You wouldn't know that by looking at him now. He's like 6'2", super built, like, like he's done great, like physically. But I tell him that I know and I see in him the kind of, inject whatever adjective, incredible adjective here it is, but what it would take for somebody to go from having like that level of weight when he's still pretty young and getting himself into a healthier situation, right? Getting himself to say like, well, change my mind. I don't want to live like this anymore, and I'm going to change my life. And to have been able to continue to keep it up.
Wow.
So those are all principles that just have applied to his business. He's made, over $100,000 a month in his business. He is right now in the middle of like pivoting the business into something that feels a little bit more heart-centered to him. Wow. And I just see him as just, there's nothing that you can't do, and he makes you feel that way. So I just wanted to say, this is just my love letter to Kevin, because Kevin has just completely changed the way that I do my business. At one point, I was your engagement coach online. All of that happened because of my conversations with Kevin. Wow. Like, I would not be here. I would not have the business that I have if it wasn't just because I'm just getting access to his brain. So if anybody's thinking about even starting a podcast and doing it in a serious way, like monetizing the podcast, go and send him a message. Tell him that Ina sent you, because he's just an incredible resource and just like a nice person to know.
That's awesome.
Just like, period.
Yeah, everything you've ever told me about him, and just the way that he operates in integrity, more so than any other high level coach that I've seen on that level who's doing that kind of revenue. It's unbeatable.
Yeah. I just feel like it's something we all need to strive for, that it's perfectly like possible for us to be making the level of income that we want and also be good people.
Still be a nice guy.
Still be nice people.
Yeah.
So like, that's what we want to do, right?
Yep.
Is that what we want?
I want to be a nice guy.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
A nice guy?
Nice guy. We're the nice guys.
So that's our list of people that we've
For today. I feel
learned.
like we need a part 2 because I have my list goes on.
Yeah, I
of
saw
people
your
that
list.
you saw my
There's
list.
a lot of people.
There were some people.
We'll see what feedback we get from this
Okay.
episode.
Yep.
And see if
Do you guys want to hear more?
See if we
Let
want
you
people want to
know.
do part 2.
Yeah.
So
People you need to follow
yeah, if
that
you
have changed our lives.
click subscribe, follow, all of that stuff, and then just send me a DM and tell me, hey, I listened to your episode with Elyssa. I loved it because she's awesome, and it was
Definitely. And Elyssa was the highlight of the
so cool.
whole.
Elyssa was the highlight of the entire thing.
Yep.
And
Actually, they're probably going to favor the gnat that's been flying around.
the gnat,
the fly,
you know,
fruit fly.
once we catch it, like they're
We're
gonna
going
hear
to
us
show
cheer.
his dead body on.
So just ask me, send me a DM and just ask me, hey, I would love to hear part 2. I want to hear more of like the people who were on Alyssa's list, and
Yep.
I can bring
These people
more
are
lists.
fire. They're fire.
Yeah. And they got us here.
Yep.
Like whether we bought their programs or not, there
Yeah.
are so many people out there that we can thank just for changing our mindset and like getting us to where we are.
Absolutely.
So I love this. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
Can you tell everybody where they can find you and go follow you?
When I'm not on the couch with Ina,
That's
you
right.
can find me on Instagram, Elyssa C. Smith, and LinkedIn, Elyssa Smith. And I have a really wonderful Facebook community that is free. And I would love to have you in the Stress Less Lounge if you are a woman, especially a female founder. Come on over.
And we're going to put all those links below. You can find me on Instagram at Ina Coveney. Thank you so much for coming to the Superhumans podcast. Make sure to follow and subscribe and don't miss another of these super episodes.
Yay.